oh wow, I'm getting fucked. Again? It's light work, I'm gonna get some tacos. You know, the music industry is the hurry up and wait game unless they really want something. Man, like I haven't been able to get this person on the phone for forever, and all of a sudden it's like, we buddies now.
If the label decides, I can't market that thing.
You have the whole project ready to go, and the label can decide like, yeah, we're not doing this now. Sorry. You know, good luck out there, kid. We've entered a place where there is no development for these artists that I see. That's why like producers are so important, because producers are the ones who develop the artists.
Is it still as hard as it always seems from stories I hear to just get paid for something?
It's funny how it trickles down to the people that actually do the music part. When we worked with the Futures team, that was one of the most painless. Like, hey, who did this? Boom, 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 boom. Here you go. Thank you very much. I was like, oh man, it'd be so cool to be nominated for a Grammy. And then when it actually happened, by the time I was nominated for a Grammy, it's like, okay, this is cool, but
I'm Sam. This is Stan, Alex. We're Music Hack. We're in the room here with Nellz. Nelson Kyle. I've been starting this thing off with one question. A lot of people want to be in music for various reasons. You're a producer, you're an engineer, you are a keys player. Am I missing anything?
I guess a programmer, or something,
Yeah, all this other stuff. When is the first time when, through your journey through this whole thing, you felt like you were part of it? You were in the room with the people that mattered and were making the music you want to listen to?
It's a strange question, because it's like, I feel that a lot of times when you're at the quote unquote bottom, you have these goals of being like, oh, I want to be where this person is, and I want to be where that person is. And by the time you get to that place, you want to be in another place. If your definition of getting there is destination based, I think you'll always have trouble, because you're never going to be satisfied, because you're always going to be, like, for example, I was like, oh man, it'd be so cool to be nominated for a Grammy. And then when it actually happened, by the time I was nominated for a Grammy, it's like, okay, this is cool, but if you're not in the mind state of what's next in this industry, you'll always be left behind. But it's a double-edged sword, because then it doesn't allow you to enjoy where you're at right now.
You start chasing the dragon, kind of.
What I've learned, I think, we talked about this last night. We were in a session with a friend of ours, and you have to love the journey. Right. You have to love, what you're doing every day, because if you focus on, I'll be happy once I get this thing or that thing, like, you'll never be happy. But I think just the reward of being able to, not have to spend days around people I don't like is absolutely amazing. I get to work with my friends that are all really talented people, and I think you surround yourself with a good community, right. And I think when you find your joy in that place, it's worth it, you know? But you have to love this, because if you don't love this, I don't recommend this path for anybody.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I
feel like we started with the end here. That's kind of cool, though.
It is kind of the end, but we can wind around back to the beginning.
Actually, why don't we go to the beginning? We were talking with you earlier. Mm-hmm. You went to school to learn recording arts, is the deal? Or engineering, or like?
That's like maybe 3/4 of the way through the story.
3/4. Okay, so you were born.
You know what?
You were born on one day.
Look, I was my grandfather was a pastor.
He was a pastor. Okay.
And my grandmother, played piano and accordion. She's from Colombia, and she would always have her, accordion and all these things. And my mom played piano, and I grew up I remember being a little kid, just trying to like reach the keys. And I remember being able to sit at the piano. I remember when I was finally tall enough to touch the pedals, So as a kid, my mom thought it was important for me to learn an instrument, and she put me first like in violin. Yeah. And I didn't really vibe with the violin like that. It's a cool instrument, but
Alex has some experience with it too, so I don't know if...
It's a great instrument. My sisters are great at it. I'm not.
Me either.
Especially like my littlest sister. She's really good.
Getting tone right on something like that is crazy.
It's tough, man. But I feel like then my mom was like, well, if you don't like violin, let's try piano. And I think piano is probably the best first instrument for anyone, because you can really see where music is. Like, this is a step, this is a half step. So it's like visually you kind of correlate it to what you're doing. Right. And I think if you learn piano first, you can kind of pick up any instrument, because you see it in your mind, like where things are, octave, thirds, fifths, right. All that kind of stuff. So my mom started me doing that, and I would take, my weekly lessons. And if I practiced every day for 30 minutes, I would get a toy. Every 2 weeks, like I would have it in the, and my mom would, it's 2 weeks, so it's time to go get your toy, and I'd have my thing planned out of what I wanted. You know what I'm saying?
But that's a great I did not have that reward system.
And it's funny because I would be like, oh, I gotta practice. But it's like I had some interesting piano teachers growing up, but I think when I finally hit like 7th grade, I got introduced to this piano teacher. His name was Jim Rhodes. And actually, his daughter was actually like my first friend at this new school I went to, because new school as a kid, it's weird. Yeah. She was the first friend I had, and like her dad was like, the band director and the piano teacher and stuff. And this guy, I think, at that point, I don't know if it had been fun for me until I met him, and then he just showed me how fun music was. So I just enjoyed, learning from him for years, and then he retired. After that, I got another piano teacher I didn't really like so much, and I kind of stopped doing music, but I was probably like 14, and then I got in band at school, and I played saxophone, and I also learned saxophone from Jim as well.
Right. And we were talking earlier, you like to read the music and try to faithfully recreate it.
Yeah. I was learning off, reading music, classical music, all kinds of, whatever.
But not writing your own music. Or playing your own things.
And until then, I had never done that. So I'm about like, I'd been in band like through middle school playing saxophone. I wanted to play trumpet, but I had braces and they wouldn't let me do it. It just doesn't work. Trumpet and braces don't mix.
It's an electric combination.
It's bad. It's bad because, the thing pressed against your lips, it's rough. It's rough work. But the saxophone was my thing. And then I got in band in high school, and the band would always be traveling and doing things. So it was fun. Like playing music with people is really fun, like especially a big group of people. And then I think my junior year of high school, there was a select choir in school, and my buddy and me were like, we're always into some shenanigans, and all the cute girls were like in choir, so he's like, bro, they're looking for people for the choir, so like, we gotta try it for choir. And I'm like, what do they need? He's like, we need basses. They need basses. I'm like, all right, bet. So he goes and he gets a part with bass, and I go do my tryout, and the guy's like, you're not a bass. And he's like, you're a tenor. We don't need tenors right now, blah, blah, blah. So, and I'd never done choir, and then I think they were going to Toronto, and I got to miss the Toronto trip. I was upset. I was like, man, my buddy got to go to Toronto. I wanted to go to Toronto. I didn't get to go hang out. So, they came back from Toronto. He's like, hey, we need some more tenors. So he asked me to be in the select choir. So then I started kind of doing that. And I think with choir, on top of the fact that it's like super fun to sing in a group of people, which is, it's a really cool experience. And our director was really cool. Like he had us singing like all this like kind of like Latin, like cathedral type music. It was like, because I went to a church school. Through that, I feel like knowing piano and knowing the intervals, and now you're singing the intervals and singing in harmonies and tight harmonies with people, you see it. So that's why I think piano is just such a good like basic instrument for anything. And then, that kind of happened. And then through, I'd always loved music. And I remember like as a kid, I would like mow lawns just to get, $20 just so I could go buy a CD. Yeah. And it's like, as a kid growing up, it's like, we didn't have streaming. So it's like, I can't just have a world of music at my fingertips for $20. It's like, I got to go to the store and like, I got to pick, like which album am I going to put?
Which was the first one? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I mean, I know I had like, I loved like my mom, would always play like Billy Joel and like things like that growing up, and Michael Jackson and all that. So it's like, I loved that. But I think the first CD I remember buying, it might have been like a Nirvana CD. I don't know.
Nice.
I mean,
So then like through high school, like at the same time, my friends and I, when I was like, 15, 16, we made a little rock band. So that's my first time.
Where is this, by the way?
This is in Tennessee. We're in Tennessee, okay. Like cool. In Chattanooga, Tennessee. So we made a little band, and we would just go to my friend's, basement after school and just make noise. And I think our name was Orko or something. We liked the little dude from He-Man. I don't know. So cool. We had a little band, and of course, we had a little fallout about some girl. I don't know exactly what it was.
Yeah. Was she in choir?
No, this is like I was just doing all kinds of musical stuff growing up, and then I think I remember my senior night that, we had to like do the whole walk down and be like, this person wants to do this in life. And I'm like, nothing interested me. And I said, I would always, get the CDs and be looking at the little books. And there's always like music producer, like in all, because, you used to have books with your CDs and stuff.
Oh, I loved those.
Yeah, they were the best, man. The artwork, and it's like, you get your book and you have your thing of,
then some of them would unfold into a poster.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't know what a music producer does, but I want to be one. I was never exposed to like how to do that.
Right.
So then I went to college and did something completely different, bounced around a bunch of different things, and ended up, 20 years old, dropping out and, moving to Atlanta.
Why? Like, why at the time? Why Atlanta?
Was it just because I was just a rebellious kid. I had nothing to do with music.
Nothing.
It was like when you live in Chattanooga, there's like two main cities close by. There's Nashville and there's Atlanta, and they're both like 2 hours away. I was an Atlanta kid, so I went to Atlanta and I would party a lot. Yeah, I would go to raves and do all the shenanigans.
Yeah.
I was with the shits, as they say.
And so you ended up in an internship there, kind of, or school, or like what?
This is much later.
Where
man.
does there's like another big gap going on right here.
I was just down there living my life.
Yeah.
I happened to move into an apartment building where Lloyd, the singer, lived, and they liked my pit bull, so I got cool with them. And then
nothing like a good dog to bring people together.
Yeah, I was going through some things in my life at the time, and I was like, I gotta really figure out what I'm doing. And they brought me to Dallas Austin's studio in Atlanta, to DARP. And at that time, I hadn't really been doing anything musical for years, but it's like, you don't forget. And then I would go in there, and they had all the stuff in the studio. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I'm like, I got an MPC, and so I'm like, like I can figure this out. It's like, music. So it's like, I felt like if I had access to those things younger, I would have definitely gravitated towards it. But it's like, once I could kind of see it and touch it and like, oh, I'm actually around a producer. I'm actually like seeing how this goes. They let me start interning there. And
that's dope.
And it was a cool experience because not just from the musical side, like the actual music making part, but just being allowed to sit in a room and watch like a legend, work and seeing these big artists come in and out of that studio, people that were, I don't really know them at the time, but it's like, every day it's like, Tricky Stewart's there and Dream and Polo and like, a bunch of artists, like big artists, coming from all over the place to work with Dallas.
Around like what year is this? Like,
it was like mid 2000s. I'm like 38, so I'm older. But yeah, I got to see all that, and then Dallas would let me. He kind of. I'm in there interning for free, and I was actually going to the Art Institute of Atlanta at the same time. I went for audio engineering.
So you were learning audio engineering?
Yeah, right at the same time. It just kind of happened around the same time.
Did you also have a job to make money at the same time? Like, or were you like kind of giving it a pass while you're in school? I mean, everyone goes through a different.
I was with the shits.
Okay, got it.
Gotcha.
Atlanta's an interesting place.
Yeah.
I was making some money.
You had jobs.
I was doing what I had to do to get by. I was going to school, and I'm like in the studio, and then Dallas he created like some jobs for me to do. Like my first big job was he had like a massive wall of like thousands of records.
Right.
And he's like, hey, I need you to catalog these for me, and I'll actually pay you to be here. So I would just sit there every day and catalog records and just assist, be an intern at the studio.
Yeah.
So it was cool of him to like, do that for me. And after I cataloged the records, he's like, hey, I want you to sample the records. So then, I would sit down and just chop up samples on these records. And at the same time, I'm like meeting people and, starting to learn to produce and just sit in the room and learn to record. And because I feel like engineering and producing just go hand in hand. It's like, I think people think of a producer now as like, you make a beat. And that's part of it. But it's like a production is a song. Yeah. If we're not getting a song out of this, you can sit in your room and send beats. That doesn't make you not a producer. It just makes you part of the production process. So knowing how to, if you can't sit with an artist and like just sit in a room and record and come up with a song with them, then it's tough, man.
Yeah.
Especially with AI and everything now. It's like, beats, the value of beats is not what it was.
For sure.
You know, especially when someone can just spit them out. But if you can sit and create a song with an artist and guide a record and do all those things, and watching Dallas, you know, sitting in the room and watching him do that, that's how he operates. You know, there was no AI and Splice and anything at the time. It's like, if you wanted something, you had to make it.
Yeah.
So, you know, you learn different things and just met a lot of people through the process. And then I ended up eventually becoming like the studio assistant, you know, and got to assist a lot of, you know, engineers, mixing and recording.
Was it building up in your mind, like, as you were seeing all these people doing all these things, the kind, like exactly the part of the process you wanted to do? Or were you just like, I'll end up anywhere in here and I'll be happy?
I wanted to be a producer, but I also realized engineering was like something you could do to make money.
To keep you close to the whole system.
And that was my thing. I'm like, I want to, you know, I think at that time you're just sort of like just happy to be there. So you're looking for anything to do to be useful. Cause I heard something later in my, I guess, career from this producer. I was working on a project, and I was frustrated. I was really frustrated with the manager at the time, and we were just kind of going through some things. And he told me something very valuable. He told me, always be the best problem solver in the room, and you'll find yourself in all the right places.
It's kind of great because everyone always talks about music like it's so different. There are a lot of things that are different about it, but I feel like that's a piece of advice that's totally solid, almost.
And it's a life advice.
Yeah, it's truly good life advice. Yeah.
If you know how to solve problems, you'll get places. And it's like, I mean, I've heard so many cool things. Like even my experience at Dallas is, my friend who kind of taught me to produce, you know, he would let me sit there with him every day. Cause a lot of days it's like, there's not people in the studio. So I'm just hanging out.
Right.
You know, and I was just sitting in the room with him. And I remember him telling me, man, just play your position the best you can and you'll always get a better position. Just play every position the best you can. Don't, you know, just be the best at that, and people will see that, and eventually you'll find yourself in the right place.
Yeah.
So
really
I think during that time, you're just kind of like, you're wandering a bit. Like you know what you want, you know, but there's so many ways to be in music, and I'm not like a business guy. Like I can't do all those meetings, man. I'm not a meeting guy, dude. I just
too antsy.
I just can't. I can't do the meeting thing. I would much rather just be in the studio.
You want to work?
Yeah. I even though like as a producer and everything, being in those meetings is your responsibility too. That's part of the job. There is like, there's all the cool creative things that come with it, but people forget sometimes that there is part of it that's like, be a professional.
Yeah,
and being a professional, you got to know your business.
There's a client, you have to get paid. You have to know who's in charge of things to make sure that all that stuff happens.
Yeah, it's smart to know about your publishing and how things work, and you don't got to like be proficient at it, but you do have to understand it, and there is a part of presenting yourself in a certain way and as a professional, and just the things you got to do, man. It's not all just vibes and shit.
Yeah.
You know, like.
So was there a moment when you like moved from being in like intern, then you started getting paid for some things, when you got access to do something that felt more directly related to the production? Like, okay, now your hands are on the board, or like.
Well, I mean, it's ironic. Like they had a board in the studio that like people would just run channel 1 and 2 out of.
Yeah,
you know, it's like I don't even know if the rest of the board worked. To be real,
yeah, I mean,
like,
I think that's been true for like 20, 30 years now. Yeah.
Well, actually, it did work because there was I remember there was only one mixer that would come in there. KD. Is it Kenneth Davis? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I assisted sessions for him, and that guy's like, he's a wizard, man. He's like, he has one of the most interesting like workflows, and I would notice it would be like 30 minutes mix, 20 minutes just like watch ESPN or something. You know, and I would be like mystified, you know, and I'd be in there with him like for a couple, you know, for like a week at a time.
Yeah.
So finally I'm like asking him like, hey man, like just curious. He's like, man, it keeps your ears fresh. It doesn't let you like overthink the song. He's like, because when you start mixing too long in a row, like you might work yourself backwards in a song.
Right.
You know, and at this point he's such a professional. He's instinctually knows where to go, and you don't overthink like what you're doing. And he would mix like purely on the board, man. And he's just boom, 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 you know, and not mixing at a high volume. You know, his method of keeping his ears fresh, I think especially as a mixer, and which I've gotten to do more of, and I actually really enjoy. I think that's something really valuable. Don't blast the music. Like know your speakers, double check in the car.
Yeah.
You know, and like, especially like if a client sends you like a session, set up the way that they have it. Don't take all that stuff out and put it in your own session. and rework what they did. Just work off what they did. This is like generally what they want. You just have to kind of make this like 10 to 20% better.
Yeah.
You know, which you can definitely overcomplicate that process.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning. You know, I mean, I think the more you learn in this, the more you realize you have to learn.
Yeah.
You're always a student, and you should always want to be a student, because otherwise you could never get to a point where you feel you know everything, because that's a dangerous place.
I mean, that's when you start telling people all the time and stop listening.
Yeah.
And you cease to grow, become irrelevant pretty quick.
Yeah, your ego is not your amigo a lot of times, man. You know, like your ego will let you think that you're this and that. And I think you should always in anything be looking for people that you only get better by being around people that push that. Like, we came out here, I was part of a production team with Eitan Ben-Horon and Mike Molina. Eitan is now, you know, is he vice president of A&R at Warner now?
I think so, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, he's a great guy. But we were friends. We met in Atlanta during these years that I was at Dallas, which is, the networking is so valuable, because this is a relationship based industry. I don't know how other industries work, but I'm assuming your relationships with people definitely are what drive this.
Yeah, people want to work with people that they want to work with.
Yeah.
Like, you could have all the skill in the world, but like if no one wants to be around you, then
Yeah, man.
they're not going to do business with you anyway.
No one tells you in school to, hey, be cool, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that could be a whole course in itself. Like, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
This is how
it's finishing modern finishing school.
This is how not to fuck this up.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
exactly.
Like, I don't know. I guess my mom raised me to be an agreeable person. I don't know. It's just like, listen to people and, you know, try to help out. But yeah, I met them during this time, and during this time period, I felt like my time in Atlanta was kind of, I don't know, like I'd been there for a while doing the music thing. And Atlanta's an interesting music scene. Like, I guess at that time it's all I've known, you know, and, you know, going to sessions at 10 p.m. and, you know, having someone go out to the club and come back. And it's like, wow, everyone works till 6, 7 in the morning. You know, that's just normal. It's a different place. But during this time, I met Eitan and Mike, and we had kind of, you know, they had a production team named The Agency, and they had asked me to come be a part of it. And
This is while you're interning.
yeah,
and you're like, okay, I have to make a decision
at this point,
now?
I was a studio assistant.
Okay, so you'd gone up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I had like a position now at the studio, and they had asked me to be studio manager at one point, but I just felt like that wasn't quite for me. That wasn't quite what I wanted.
I guess I'm trying to ask, like, is this a point where you have to make a decision? You're like, I'm either going to stay here and continue growing at this studio, or I'm going to move to production to what I want with these guys.
Well, I think music is interesting, or at least the path I've seen is like every day is a decision.
Yeah.
Like, everything you do is a decision. I'm doing this session, I'm doing these things. From the creative side, it's not like there's like a contract holding me here.
Sure.
You know, if I feel tomorrow like, hey, there's an opportunity in Japan that really works for me, like, I'm gonna pack up and, you know, go to Japan. So if anyone in Japan wants me to come out, you know,
get an excuse to go. So you decide, all right, cool. This thing comes along. It's what you want to do. You go for it.
Yeah, I mean, we just had a good energy together, and we were working together. They were based out of Orlando, and they would come up into Atlanta because Atlanta is like a big musical hub, and you know, meet artists and network and do all that kind of stuff. So during this time, Eitan finds an artist on YouTube, and we started kind of doing a couple songs with her. And next thing we know, the labels have a huge interest in her, and there was like a bidding war, you know, between pretty much every label out there.
Damn.
And we saw the deal starting to kind of like formulate. And, you know, I'd worked in the music industry for several years before that, but it's crazy when they really want something. You know, the music industry is the hurry up and wait game unless they really want something. When they really want something, it's different.
Right.
Like, man, like, I haven't been able to get this person on the phone for forever. And all of a sudden it's like, we buddies now. It's really weird, but, you know, whatever. Such is life. You know, it's like a big high school. You know, oh, you're the popular kid now. Oh.
Yeah. So now everyone's flirting with this possibility.
So we see it happening, and at this time, like, my lease was up in Atlanta, and I was like, I don't see myself living here any longer. So I moved. Right. I kind of I didn't know where I was going at the time. So I kind of went down to Orlando because they had a studio. They had Plush Studios in Orlando, and I went down there trying to figure out what the next move was. And we knew we had the artist that we had to work on. So we're like, let's just sit down here for a couple months and really just focus on building this project. And, like going back and forth to, Aton and her were going back and forth to LA, trying to figure out what the next move was. So it ends up, we went to Universal, Aton brought her to Universal Motown and then moved out to LA with her. And then Mike and I were in Orlando. And we're like, well, I guess, Aton was like, bro, you guys got to come out here and we can, work on this project. So, we drove across the country, packed up the studio, packed up a bag of stuff. Like my whole life is in a storage at this point, or part of it's in Mike's house, or I don't know what. And came to LA, and it's like I'd been to LA before twice, and I was like, man, I really liked it because I was like, man, things really happen here. Yeah, and LA's crazy because the first time I'd come out here, it was like I was coming out for like a month to work on with an independent artist. And then in that time, I had done a song with Mike and Sounds, and it was for Sierra. Like he had, put it together with Tricky Stewart and all that. So at this time, I'm getting like my first kind of placement, and it's a very exciting time, and I'm over there going to Larrabee with
like a graduation.
Yeah, I mean, it's like wow, like I'm getting a placement. Like it's getting placements is not easy, man. Like it's not. It's a wild game.
Wait, so is that kind of the answer to the first question though?
Yeah, is that the moment where you're like, oh, like I'm producer now?
Okay, and that's where the rest of my explanation, like I don't know.
Have we gotten there?
I just once I got the thing, I don't know. Like once I'm the type of person. Once I get the thing, it's like now I want the next thing.
Yeah, there's another room that
like
you're
it's
not
cool
in
for
yet.
like a day or two, and I'm like, oh, I'm
excited. You can see the next peak you want to hit.
Yeah, because you always have to be. You have to hustle in this. You have to be. You can't just like rest in your successes. So I saw the placement happening, and that's my first experience kind of going through that and being in the studio with everybody. And we were down at Larrabee, and it was like, this is my first LA experience. I'm like, man, the first time I come to LA, this is amazing. Yeah. I ended up staying for like 3 or 4 months, and I was like, at this point, I knew I was like, I think I'm done with Atlanta because I just felt like nothing against Atlanta. I loved my time there, but it was just like, in life when you feel that next thing coming, and then we got the artist thing coming. So then we came out here to LA. And I'm like, we're gonna come out for like a month, a month or two to work. And when I first got out here, I'm like, I'm thinking in my mind like, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good.
I could do this.
And then this girl is like out here working with like Dr. Luke and Stargate and like all these people, and it's like they're coming back home with these records, and I'm just like, man, I'm trash. Like, oh my God. Like there's
the highs and the lows at the same time.
Dude, it hits you hard because it's just like talent. A lot of people have talent, but it's like you have to put in those hours into that talent. And I think when I first came to LA, it's like that's when you really feel like iron sharpens iron. Like to be better at something, you have to surround yourself with people that are better than you.
Yeah.
Like you have to. It's a vital part of getting better at anything.
I completely agree with that. More people have to spend time with people who are better, and they have to know that they're better.
And you know that they're better.
Be okay with it and learn from them.
Put your ego away and just go in there. And if they're willing to be cool enough to learn from them, and everything, that's how you grow. And then that's how everyone grows through anything. You have to just put that ego away and be a student. You have to go and learn from the master. And just like how do I get this, And so, through that process, we learned a lot, and the project ended up, not coming out because,
Hey, this is Sam from Music Hack. We're super excited to be bringing you In the Room. This is a passion project from us because we've loved building tools for everybody, but now we're bringing all those people that we met while making those tools on that journey, and we're sharing that information with you. If you enjoy watching this podcast, help us make it better. This is our first season, and so we're trying to figure out, what do people want to see? Leave comments, give us feedback, tell us what you want to see. Do you want to see business people? Do you want to see more mixers? Do you want to see more engineers? Do you want to see coders? We're happy to bring any of those people to you because we know a whole bunch of people in the industry, and we love talking to them and hearing what they're all about and sharing that with you. So remember, like, subscribe, comment, feedback, join our community, read the description, see what there is to see, and we're just going to keep bringing you this podcast. So you're in a production team, right? Some people, they like make a lot of music and then they try to shop it around to artists. I think from talking in the past, you're someone who's worked several times cultivating new artists or working with them for long periods of time. And it sounds like this was sort of like that as a project because you're working with one artist.
That was my first experience with it.
But you've done this many times. And
several times.
Are there some good like arcs or stories or lessons from that kind of stuff in general? Or like what to expect? I mean, that's a good one. Like it looked like a lot of opportunities. You end up in these amazing studios, but then the project doesn't come out because music industry. Is that kind of the refrain of most of them? Or is it kind of, you never know?
Labels sign so many artists, you know, and we've entered a place where there is no development for these artists that I see.
Really?
And I don't know how every label operates, so I'm just speaking from what I've seen. That's why like producers are so important, because producers are the ones who develop the artists. You know, the producer, you know, management is super vital. Right. You know, you got to have the right team around it. And I stress that team and the artist has to be very self-motivated. You know, especially these days. I mean, it's you know, you can lead a horse to water, right? But you can't, you know, I can't make you drink it, you know?
Right.
So, I've been through the process before, and it's fun, it's exciting, it's heartbreaking, you know, and you realize just how fragile that process is and how, you know, I had helped a friend get a deal at Interscope, you know, several years ago, and I've been to the point where it's like you feel like, oh, this is really happening, and then I've watched it fall apart for various reasons, and it's like it can range from, you know, just the label just wanting to go in a different direction, and they want to, you know, and we were about to drop originally with the first artist, and then Universal Motown kind of imploded, and we got bounced around over to Republic. And it's tough when you lose like your initial core, like A&R team and the people that believe in you, because all of a sudden you're just another artist who's on our roster, and it's a huge roster, and it's like other people that are higher up in that system. Like all of a sudden now you're the stepchild.
You're leftover piece
of
IP.
You're the stepchild, and it's no shade on anyone's talent, because so much of this is not necessarily talent. You know, there's timing, there's a lot of luck involved. You know, there's just having the right time with the right thing. And you know, from the artist standpoint, artists have a tough road, man. Producers, we get the opportunity to recreate ourselves and put on a different hat and, you know, go do this for the day and go do that for the day. Artists has to kind of like, they got to stay in that, you know, I got to stay trying to build this thing. It's difficult, man.
Yeah. And like you said, the thing can just be dropped if the label decides, I can't market that thing.
You have the whole project ready to go, and the label can decide like, yeah, we're not doing this now. Sorry. You know, good luck out there, kid. You know, if they're merciful, they'll drop you, and you know you can go try again somewhere else.
Exactly.
But you can get held on that shelf, and then it's like, you know, we were at the time we were about to put out a project independently with her, and our biggest regret was not doing that, because once the label stepped in, it was like now they control the release. Right. And it's like, we have a project ready to go. We can put this out. Like, she had already been, you know, this is back when YouTube was really first starting to get like if you popped off on YouTube, you can, you know, you really do something. So it was like, in retrospect, it's like releasing the music was probably the right thing to do. And then having the music already out there, and then the label was going to do what they were going to do anyway.
Right.
So, but now, since we hadn't put out that music, now you're waiting on the label to feel like when they're ready to put out the music. And, you know, man, that's a whole... that's above my pay grade. I don't know, man. I'm not in those meetings. I'm not a meeting guy.
Right.
But but it's tough, man. It's really tough, because it's heartbreaking. You put so much into it. This is this is art, man. It's close to you. It's not just like you're sitting in a cubicle just crunching numbers and, hey, I got my paycheck, I'm going home. See you at the weekend. See you Monday, Charlie. You know, it's not like that.
No, people stay up late,
this is your whole life. You know, it's tough, man. It's tough, and I've seen it implode. Like, you know, say you won't get along with the manager and this and that. I had a certain situation like that where someone came on in later in the project, and it's just it's wild, man. I've seen it fall apart for sure. You know?
Speaking of paycheck too, like, how has the way you've gotten paid, if you can divulge however much you want to, changed over the years? And like, is it still as hard as it always seems from stories I hear to just get paid for something?
Welcome to Adventure Hour. All right. Now here's something they don't tell you in school or anywhere else. For an industry that gets all this money, it's really mystery. It's a big mystery where it goes. It's funny how it trickles down to the people that actually do the music part. It's really bizarre. I mean, and I'm not sure. It's like, I don't want to point any fingers at anyone because it's like, I don't want to blame the artist because the artist has no idea what's going on with that. I don't think the artist is sitting there like, oh, you should just make them wait for a year to get paid. Like, I don't see that happening. You know, I don't know where the breakdown is because I'm not in the office. It's definitely a lot of red tape to get paid for something, even if the project is out. You know,
it's crazy.
Like, I've had artists, they don't sign a letter of direction, so you don't get to see your publishing for years or something. You know,
I don't even know what a letter of direction is.
The letter of direction, I think, is basically, you could probably help me out with this. It's just kind of like,
it's the artist saying, "Hey, label, here's a letter of direction. You guys have the responsibility of paying the producer or the people on the project."
Yeah, and until that happens, no one's getting the money.
Got it.
Like, there's so much that goes into the album. There's so much that goes into this stuff, man. And it's like, the project will be out. You'll see it out. And it's like, man, you're still waiting on paperwork and all these things. And it's like, I don't know if it's the individual teams running these artists. I don't know if it's the departments. I've had some good experiences where it was really simple. Like, when we worked with the Futures team, that was one of the most painless. It was like, hey, who did this? Boom, 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 boom. Here you go. Thank you very much.
In the future.
You know, and I was like, I was blown away. I was like, wow, that's literally the easiest that was actually like a job. Oh my God. Like, can we do this all the time? Like, this is really cool. Like,
but that's pretty rare.
It's interesting. It can vary.
Got it.
I think as a producer, I've learned, man, you got to keep your hustles. Like, you know, you got to have your independent artists. You know, that's why the engineering thing was useful, because it was like, you know, something to get paid along the way of waiting for these things. And it's like, it takes time to push a song, even if you have a hit. I mean, it's like, you may get a hit and it's like, you're not going to see money from that hit for a year, another year or two, depending on if they did the paperwork right or someone doesn't have a dispute about the song. If there's a dispute about the song, then no one's getting paid until the dispute is handled.
And in the meantime, if it's a hit, you got all this attention. So now you got to do double the work.
Yeah, and you can't go to your landlord and be like, well, listen, bro.
Yeah.
You know that song you're listening to in your car? That's mine. So can you just...
Pending litigation.
In 24 months, this will pay dividends.
It's like Dumb and Dumber. It's like, here's the IOU. You know, like, you're coming in like, it's just as good as money. Maybe.
Oh, God, that's brutal.
That's why I say, man, if you don't love this, like, it's a really difficult grind, because you have to really be really opportunistic and figure out all different sources of revenue. And I look at it like the analogy of, like, we're farmers. You know, I'm a farmer. Like, I can go out and plant all these seeds. I don't, you know, I can plant them, do the thing. I have things I can control.
Yeah.
But I don't control the weather. I don't control if we're going to have a monsoon or if it's going to freeze or if it's going to do anything like that. It's like, that is out of my control. I can just plant seeds and, like, you know, hope that the harvest happens. We gripe about it from the creative side, but it's like, you know, let someone in the office not get their check for, you know, every 2 weeks, man. It's like, they would be tripping, bro. Like, they would, you know, and
government employees right now,
dude. I mean, to get a check from a song that you've done within a span of months, you're like, man, my God, it's amazing. Yeah. It's like, man, it's like, did you get Pony Express to come around the country and, like, give me this?
I just never understood how that worked. I mean, like,
I don't either.
Because and it's like, I thought it ended at the split sheets, which, by the way, is like a whole other thing. And it's just like, you don't. It feels like every time I've had the luck to be in a room, the way that people are keeping track of stuff is completely different. And usually it just seems like after the fact that it's like, oh yeah, 10-5-103.
I definitely, look, I mean, I operate pretty much on a system. Like, I definitely try to always, when we work on something, you put everyone's name on it. You know, you got to stay organized with your files. You know, just stay on top of it, you know, because it's like, there are times where, like, something like a song will place from, like, years before, and you're not sure all the way, but you should do your due diligence and try to be organized. Like, that's a vital part of being a producer or engineer or mixer or anything. Like, be organized, because, like, that will get you places, man. And it's like, you know, 3-4 years down the line, I've placed records, you know, much later down the line that, you know, you have to keep those things in order, man.
I know, like, people get taught this in school, and but practically it's kind of weird. But do you think it would help if split sheets were signed in the room at the end of each session that you were in?
It's not a terrible idea. It's not a terrible idea at all. The one thing that's awkward with splits, with split sheets. I feel like, look, man, if we worked on a record together, once you're entering the record of like, so you get 3 or 4 people on a song, it's like, man, there's nothing worse than the guy that comes in and is like, well, I did 32%, and you only did 17, and it's like, bro, we did this together. Like, I don't understand. It's like I'm kind of an even split guy.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, it's just, this is a long-term relationship, and it's like we're literally arguing about hypothetical money that is not even.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's not even as concrete as
we're arguing about a fictional thing that's not even real yet. Right. So it's like if I tend to work with the same people over and over, and they're my friends, and it's like, look, man, if we do something together, we did it together. Let's just break bread. And because it's like we're gonna keep this relationship going, and it's like there's those little things that happen, like those, I don't know, man, that can definitely rub you the wrong way. And this industry is not big, man.
Yeah.
This industry is not big, and once people start being like, oh man, that guy did this, and it's like, you know, it's cool when you're hot, but it's like, man, I've seen some people get hot and then you get cold.
Always, yeah.
And it's like, man, the toes you step on the way up are gonna be attached to the ass you kiss on the way back down, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's really, really shitty having to come back and be like, hey, remember that time that I gave you 5% on a song that you probably did a lot more on? Yeah, exactly. My bad. You think I could you know. It's just, you got to think longevity with this, and it's, I don't know, man. So many of these little percentage points and shit, and it's like it can really rub people the wrong way. Yeah, and it's like, you know, you're gonna see these people for the next however long, dude. And I do understand if there's like, hey, there's a song that's already done and someone adds something additional at the end. Okay, I understand that, but it's like if we're the creators of this thing together, it's like, man, let's keep this thing, you know.
Have you ever got caught in a situation where like a whole chunk of your music or something was used and you were cut out entirely, and then just been like, oh god, this is a very common, we
did a record overseas, man, and they wanted to give us no production credit when it's like I had made like this whole like loop like in the song that was like, it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't some slice thing. Like I had to like go and make this thing, and it's like, bro, I felt like it was literally sampled in the song.
Yeah.
You know, and the guy's trying to be like, well, you know, it's a whole, like, bro, you reproduced the song verbatim. It's like, you're just like, it's like you traced it. You know, it's like you made the Kids Bop version of the song. Like, you didn't even make it better. Or first off, you know.
Did you get publishing on the song still?
Yeah, I got publishing, but this guy collected all the producer fee and didn't want to give us any of it. And it's like, man, that's kind of weak, bro. Like, I mean, and it's like, but people feel like, you know, you're overseas. It's like, I don't know you. I'm the one that's, you know, putting this thing together. And it's like, bro, that's not cool. Like, that's really not cool, bro. Like, this is common practice.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, have you been asked to reproduce something for?
I have.
So did you give those producers production credit?
Well, luckily, I knew the producer, so I went to him and was like, hey, man, da-da-da. So we just, you know, broke bread evenly on the thing. It's like, hey, man, you did the thing. There had been some kind of interesting situation between them, and, you know, I don't want to go too deep into it, but, you know, it's like you should always try to do your due diligence. I don't like reproducing a song.
Yeah.
I've been asked to do it, but I've tried to reach out and be like, hey, let's just make sure everyone gets their thing, dude. It's honestly, I don't like reproducing records. I really, really don't.
For that reason?
Yeah, it's just messy, man. And it's like sometimes, you know, you get asked by like publishers and different people to, hey, can you redo this? But it's like always like I'd try to ask, like, dude, who did this or who did this? You know, I like to know. I don't like to do that. I don't like being on the other end of it too much. It's different if you know the person and you can reach out directly. You know, I don't like to have it even be through the label. Man, this is between us. And just as a man, you feel like, man, I want to just approach you like, you know, if I see you somewhere, I want us to celebrate. If this goes and becomes something big, I would like for us to be like high-fiving together on this.
Right.
Just ethically, you know, like I feel like that's the right thing to do. I understand reproductions happen and this and that, but if you're the original creator of this thing, like you definitely deserve, you know, like we wouldn't have this without you.
Yeah.
So we should break bread on this. We really should.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
like you see yourself on both sides of the coin is the important part.
I've been on both sides of the coin. I think when I was younger, I would take this business stuff really personally. And then maybe you get older and you get jaded and you're just like, eh. Oh, wow, I'm getting fucked. Again? It's light work. I'm gonna get some tacos.
That's so true, though, bro. That's so true.
Bro, you get used to it so much. It's just like, man, if I waste my time being upset about this all the time, I'm gonna be upset all the time.
Yeah.
You know, so at least I made this.
good
I have a good time every day with my friends, and you know, I try to keep this as light as possible. I think everyone with any job, you know, you come home and you complain about it, and you get a drink about it, and you complain to your husband or wife or your kids about it, or I don't know what. I'm assuming that's how it goes for everybody. So it's like, why would this be any different? You know, you love it, but at the end of the day, it is a job.
Yeah.
You know, there's gonna be things you don't like about it. There's gonna be things you like about it, and you know, you just try to make the best of it. Like with anything, you know, minimize the bad and maximize. You know, dwell on the good, and just get through it. Get your lawyer, and you know, let them get in someone's ass.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like,
If you need it.
if it's time to release the hounds, bro. Like I have no problem with that either. You know what I'm saying? Like that's cool.
You also mentioned a couple times making music with your friends. Like, is
Yeah.
that your ideal creative situation? Is
Yeah.
making music with other people? Do you feel like
Yeah.
very inspired in those situations versus doing things by yourself?
I hate working by myself.
Really?
I like doing edits and stuff on myself, but if it's like I can't work days on myself, man. It's just way too boring. I'm too ADD.
Yeah.
I'll just sit in the room. I don't know. I need someone there. Like even just doing anything. I don't know.
Do you consider yourself an extrovert?
I am an extrovert, but I discovered that I need the introverted times to recharge myself.
Got it.
You know, you have a social battery,
Yep.
and I don't know. Sometimes it's like you have a long day in the studio, and you're like, "Why am I tired?" And it's like, "Oh, I've been just." It's a different kind of tired. It's not like I've been like doing construction all day, but man, you're tired. Like my brain is just like done.
Yeah.
You know, so I need that time by myself to just go, just go be by myself and just charge back up for the next day.
Yeah.
I think you learn how to maintain your energy and maintain your vibe or whatever as you kind of like go through this, because you can burn out. Like when I first really started doing a lot of sessions in LA, your calendar gets filled up with a lot of people you don't know, and you're bouncing from session to session to session to session, 2 a day is this and that, and then just meeting people for the first time. And I feel like making music is a bit like a relationship. Like you go on dates with people, a casual date, it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, I got a drink, may not see you again, it's a good time. Yeah. But it's like to create something lasting that's like a beautiful thing. It's like, oh no, I really like this person. I want to see you again. I want to, you start spending time with this person,
right?
And you start building, and that's when you start like building like something like that's special.
Yeah.
So I feel like the more you kind of like start finding people, it's like, and a lot of people are really good. It's just like, you don't know how to make magic with everybody.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes, I have people that I'm like close to, I have a hard time. We just can never seem to like do that. That doesn't make us any less friends. But certain people just have that energy together that they just have the chemistry.
Yeah.
And I feel like the best stuff comes when it's like, oh, we have 6 hours, we gotta make a hit. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's really weird. You might get it once in a while, just on the off chance. But I always feel like.
So you're saying you don't like writing camps?
I feel like at this point, I've been around this industry long enough that I feel like even going to writing camps, I see a lot of the people that I know anyway.
So it puts you already
Gotcha.
into
Yeah.
that space.
Yeah.
I do like camps to an extent if they're run properly.
Yeah. Well, I met you at a camp that you were partially running.
We were learning how to run camps.
They felt like they were going okay to me. Like
Camps are funny because sometimes you just get too many chefs in the kitchen.
yeah.
And I feel like we were going through the process of like learning that. There's a certain amount of number of people where it's like, now everyone's just kind of like fighting to be on something. And sometimes I would get to points I'm like, am I even making this better, or am I just here?
To try to get
You
on.
know,
Yeah.
like sometimes it's like you get the song and it's like, man, y'all got it, man. Like, I would be struggling to fit on this thing. So I like camps for the networking and the energy and stuff. And it would be cool. Like I've been to some that were interesting where like they would rotate different groups of people through different rooms for certain amounts of time.
Yeah.
And I felt that was a cool system. But then all of a sudden when it's just like you got 7, 8 people, 9 in a room. It's like, bro, like and everyone's dope. Everyone's great, but why don't we just like split up into like a couple different rooms
Right.
and y'all go do your thing. We're gonna do our thing in here, and then we'll switch this up. So camps are interesting. They're fun. I just feel like sometimes,
Splits kind of get interesting for camps.
Oh yeah,
splits,
that
the
seems
splits.
impossible.
And then you have people that were like, well, I'm in the room. I did the, I put the, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's like it's rare that I've heard a song and it's like, man, this song would be a smash, but that snare, I don't know, man. You know, and as a producer, I think like you start getting this weird thing of like dissecting every song you hear.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh, I would have done this and I would have done that. And it's really a weird thing that happens. You forget how to be a fan again. And like, you know, I wanted to go see Oasis really bad. Because it's like a band I loved growing up. And it's like also just for the experience of just like, I can go to this music thing and just be a fan. Right. And I remember that feeling of like being a kid and just loving a band or a group or whatever. Right. And just like, that's what you're making music for them. You know what I'm saying? You're not making music for other engineers or producers or even the label. Like we're not making, the music isn't for y'all. Right. Like y'all are such a small percentage. We're making music for people that just want to feel good and feel like understood and feel those things. And it's like, I feel like it's simplicity is the most difficult. Oh yeah. Is the most difficult thing. Knowing when this is enough. Like, nope, this is good. Like, this is fine. You like, sometimes it's like with songs, I feel like the demo, you'll make the demo and then you spend all this time producing out the song. And it sounds good. Like sonically it's good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like, man, there was something so good about just the original demo, like on the guitar or something. And it's like, I love that version more. Music is weird like that. Yeah.
When you're in the room, how do you know when you've got something? Is it when like you and your friends are really excited about it? Like someone earlier told us like he gets goosebumps on his arms. Like, what's like that moment for you?
No, there's some special ones, man. I sometimes I know it with this one, with this way. Like if when you're in a session all day and you're doing a bunch of sessions, I'm always been the type, man. I won't listen to music on the way home. Like normally I don't listen to music on the way home after it's a weird thing when you're first coming into studios and you have to hear one song for like hours. Yeah. Like it's really, really weird at first, just that process of just getting used to that. You know, it drives you crazy. But after you do it so long, you're just like, it doesn't affect you in the same way. Right, you're just living in that landscape. Yeah, but after hearing the song for so many hours, it's like, I'm cooked on this song. I don't want to hear anything. Like, I'll listen to a podcast. Sometimes I'll just roll the windows down. Right. I want to hear absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. Same. And when I feel like you make something special is when it's like, I gotta hear this in the car as soon as I finish. That's how I know when it's something like really special. Like, oh man, I can't. Oh, and then you call your homie after the session at like 3 a.m. like, bro, I cannot stop listening to this song. It's like, man, this song is crazy. And it's like, it doesn't happen all the time, and it's not like the other songs aren't good. It's just like the special moment. I had a lot of time where I was working at Tricky Stewart's studio in Encino when they were out here with Red Zone, and Tricky would be dropping like gems. Like Tricky drops gems just, and he's probably not thinking about it, but he would just drop you a gem. And he was like, you know, playing him some music and this and that. He's like, listen, man. He's like, you're always gonna make good music. You're gonna make music. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like just the things that you do normally is more than like the 99th percentile of people can do. But good is the enemy of great. Good is the enemy of great. And that last little percent is what makes that special. Yep. And it's like, man, think about it. It's like we make how many songs a year, but like how many like a hit? Like there's some that are just this undeniable thing. And Tricky was always like, yeah, man, good is the enemy of great. Good is the enemy of great. And I'm like, man, that's difficult because that takes you like it's hard when you're younger in music, I think, because you feel like everything I make, like if I got a critique from like an A&R or something, it would just like devastate you. Yeah. You know, and I remember it was like the first times, I don't use a lot of names, but there is a name. The first time we were like kind of starting to work with Mike Karen, and you know, I'm signed to APG now, and I think when you're younger, it's like your ego and all that. You go through this thing, and like you would get like a song, and he would like have notes on it, and it's like at first when you first hear that, you're just like, oh man, you don't like it, this and that, blah blah, and it's like you take it personal, man, it hurts, and then as I grew in this and I realized something one day. I was like, bro, this guy gets how many thousands of emails a day of songs? Right. And you took the time not just to listen to this song, but you went back and you're like, at 120, you could probably try this and that. And it's like, all of a sudden I realized, oh, this is respect. Yeah. Like you're showing me respect. You're saying, I fuck with this. But you could like, and it goes back to the good is the enemy of great. And it's like going and like listening and learning to step outside yourself. Be like, all right, cool. And let me try it. Let me try it your way. Let me try it to this. And Mike is one of the coolest because it's like, he gets so many songs, but bro, like Mike will respond to you.
Yeah.
Like, and he will, and it's not a joke. Like and Aton's the same way. It's like these guys, they'll respond to you. And it's like, I learned to take those things that I felt were critiques at first and take them as like a sign of respect. It's like, you're actually, how many emails do you send out that don't even get listened to, bro?
Yes.
Like
Most of them.
Most.
Yeah.
There's a corollary to that saying though, that like, which is that the perfect is the enemy of the good.
Yeah.
So it kind of comes from both directions. So to like cap that off, how do you know when something's finished, right? So on one hand, you got to accept that good isn't good enough. It needs to be great. But on the other hand, you got to accept it has to end somewhere, and they have to meet in this spot, right? And
I guess when the artist is happy with it and it comes out.
yeah. Most sayings have an opposite saying. I mean, this is just one of those kind of
It's
situations.
funny, man.
You know?
Like I've had songs that placed overseas, and like in Korea and stuff, and even them, they did a great job.
Right.
Great job on the song, and everything. But it's like, I remember the original demo. Something about
yeah,
that
for
original
sure.
demo,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
There's just something about that original demo that just hits different for me.
So it might not be
So
that more
I'm not
work
the
is going
person
to
to
make
ask
it perfect.
because you're gonna be most critical. I'm most critical of anything I do myself.
Right.
Like
yeah,
I'm gonna
you got-
critique.
yeah.
I'm gonna critique myself so hard, and I think it's like a double-edged sword because you have to be able to critique yourself. You have to be able to be like, is this ass? Like, it's like, is this? I can do something like this isn't that great. This is not my best. Now I like this one, but it's like you have to. It takes a while, I think, to develop that thing, and it's like working around people like Mike and Aton, and learning to take that guidance and learning to be like, hey man, like when you get that email back, it's not a diss. It's like this is. Hey man, I'm taking time out of my day. Even if I'm getting 5 minutes of this man's day, 5 minutes of this man's day is a lot of time.
Right. Right.
Like when you really see it and you have perspective and you realize that everyone, like these people are trying to help you.
Yeah.
So take the
That's
help.
great advice.
Yeah.
Great advice.
Take the help, man. Like, hey bro, like I'll redo this song 20 times, bro.
Yeah.
Like, not yet. No, just the one. Oh, what do you think? And it's like, I've noticed even when Mike loves that kind of conversation. Like, it's not even annoying him, bro. Like he's into that,
Yeah.
So it's like, just be receptive, be a student, listen, and try not to take things so personal. Because if the song sucked, you're not going to get an email back.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I feel like I can't.
No one's hitting
Yeah.
you back. That's the one. Getting no response is the one you don't want, man.
Yeah.
Getting a response is always positive.
So it sounds. I mean, we've gotten a lot of like great pieces of advice, like gems. Keep learning, keep doing stuff. Be humble.
Yeah.
Listen. All this stuff. I almost feel like I don't need to ask this question, but to somebody that wants to be an engineer, producer type person, cultivating artists, getting work out there, what is the absolute worst piece of advice you can give them?
That the thing you just made is the best thing you'll ever make.
Ooh, I like that.
There it is.
I like that.
Yeah.
There's always time to learn, man, and don't ever let your ego, like, look, man, you can learn from anyone in the room.
Yeah.
I always treat people with the same respect and dignity because it's like, look, man, I know Pro Tools backwards and forwards.
Right.
But I will always, it's a funny program because like I'll go into a room with like, the intern showed me a shortcut I had no idea about. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't ever think you're too big to like listen to someone.
That's also such an intern thing to do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Bro, and it's like, I was like, man, dude, like I'm telling everybody, and it's like, and everyone's sharing this pool of knowledge. Just be part of the process, be humble, and respect people, and just be a student, man, and enjoy the ride. Just enjoy the ride, dude, because otherwise you drive yourself crazy, man.
Yeah.
Your happiness cannot be made up in money and in achievements and all those things. And yes, you want those things, but that's not where the joy comes from.
Right.
That's not where it's gonna come from. You do this because you love it. You do this because, like, man, if I wake up some days, I'm like, yeah, some days I've thought like I hate this, but it's like I don't. It's like
You're still here. You're still here.
I'm just like, his hate is just like mad love, like it's just angry love, It's just, I was just playing, like my bad. I was tripping. I was just in my feelings, nah, man. I think you just got to stay listening to everyone, man. These young kids, bro, they know stuff.
Yep.
These young kids coming up, man, they know stuff, man. Like I'm always trying to like, hey man, I'm always trying to learn from anybody, man. Like, don't think you're ever too big to learn from anybody.
Yeah.
Like, people, be a part of the network. Make good. Just be a solid person, man.
You mentioned a pit bull. Do you have dogs now?
Oh man.
I have a follow-up question, by the way.
I had my pit bull for 14 years.
Oh,
and
what was his or her name?
He was Nemo.
Nemo.
I actually had 2 dogs. I had Nemo and Marley. And when I first came to LA, someone was watching my dogs, and Marley got out. And some little girl called me, like saying, "I think I found your dog," and then she wouldn't answer me anymore. I think they took my dog. Yeah, it's a sad one. Yeah, but you know what? There was a little kid, and Marley loved little kids. So I just like to think that he found himself a happy little family and lived his happy life.
Oh man!
But yeah, and after Nemo passed away, when I had Nemo, he found a kitten in the street, and he became like I was gonna. I found the kitten in the street because we were on a walk, and I was like, I didn't know how he would react to a cat.
Yeah.
I took the cat in, and I'm like cleaning her up. She's covered in fleas. She's like probably like 6 weeks old. She's tiny, and cleaned her up, and I had her in my bathtub because I was like trying to separate her from the dog. But my dog's strong. He's got a big head, so I'm like in the living room doing something. And I hear him like butt his head into the bathroom, and I'm like, oh no, the cat! And he's just licking the cat, and I'm like, oh. And they became like best friends.
Amazing.
So after Nemo passed away, I had cats, and now I have 2 more cats. So I love animals. I have Slash, Luna, and Mario. Mario is my newest cat.
Oh.
I just met him when he was little, and I was like, man, I need some boys in this house, man.
And
you can see like a twinkle in your eye when you talk about your cats.
I love animals, man. I love having a dog. It's just it's tough having a demanding schedule.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad for a dog. Like in LA, it's like if I had a house with a yard, I'd definitely have a dog. And it's hard. Like I want to have a dog again. It's just like I'm just kind of waiting for the right time.
Yeah.
But I love them. Dogs are awesome. Yeah.
if Nemo could have played any musical instrument, what do you think it would have been? What would he have chosen?
Nemo would have been like the singer of an emo rock band.
Okay.
Like, would he have dressed up that way too?
Yeah, he was just kind of like an emo kind of guy. That's why I call him Emo Nemo. He's just pit bulls are sensitive, man.
They are.
They have such big hearts, and like you can see them get their little feelings. Like they are. I think when you really, it's weird until you have a dog. You don't see those personalities. Cats are all over the place with their personalities, man. My cats have 3 completely separate personalities. But dogs, man, there's something about dogs, man.
They wear it on their sleeve too.
Yeah, they do.
It's so out there, and it's like, man, it's so nice to come up at the end of the day and just, I know you're always gonna be happy to see me.
Yeah.
Everyone else might suck today, but I got you, bro.
Yeah. The best. No, I'm making me stay tuned.
Oh man, I want to get another one. Yeah, so bad.
Nellz, thanks so much for coming.
And thanks for having me. It's
do
been
you want
a
to share
blast,
your
man.
socials or anything with anybody?
Oh yeah, my Instagram is @Nellz Music. I don't really use TikTok like that, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, keep making music. Have
All right.
fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. See you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thanks for having me.